Sieht aus. 1,47.
Yes!
Geschwindigkeit 101,8. Topspeed 107, den Sieg für Kimberly Moss.
Nog eentje erbij.
World Championship open. Go!
Welcome to the show.
Herzlich willkommen, liebe Zuschauer. Good morning. Welcome to Winterberg in Germany's Hochsauerland for the start of the 2024 BMW IBSF Bobsleigh and Skeleton World Championships. The single biggest race fortnight of the season. And we start off with skeleton today. Women's skeleton, their first 2 of 4 heats, and the men this afternoon. I'm Martin Haven, delighted to have alongside me former skeleton turned bobsled renegade, Mihai Paceanu. Mihai, this is a track that lots of young sliders come to learn on, which means it's relatively safe to get down, but it's really hard to find speed here.
Yeah, exactly. It's probably one of the easiest tracks to get down to the finish line safe without crashing. But from my experience, it's one of the most difficult track on tour to put together a fast time down the track, because the first part of the track, it's very smooth, it's very slow. You can't really do some mistakes if you have some experience, but then suddenly somewhere on the track it's a big transition from this smooth rise to a very rough and very fast track, and to maintain that balance on being chill, it's not so easy. Here is coming a Kreisel, which even if it seems easy, it's very tricky, because if you do a little bit more distance on it, your time is just gonna die. And here is coming curve 9, where everything is accelerating, and here is coming the rough part, and you just feel the speed. And it's coming this labyrinth 12, 13, where it's very tricky, very bumpy, and this 14, where if you don't have speed, you can lose actually a lot here, because it's going a lot uphill.
Yes, so steep uphill, the final corner. That was added in later after the track was originally built, as the speeds of the sleds grew. There you can see it wending down the track. Lots of kids from the local high school here. Clearly they've had a little bit of a learning about foreign nations program going on. Lots of flags and a bit of orange in the crowd as well. This is colloquially known as the Dutch Alps. Almost 75% of the registration plates of cars in town are yellow. They are Dutch. There are lots of holiday makers here. They'll be supporting the woman who's won the last 2 races on this track, Kimberly Boss. She's got to be among the favourites. So too the local heroines, Jacqueline Lurling, Jacka. So too the Olympic champion, Hannah Neiser, who also calls this place home. But there are lots and lots of fast starters in the field. Mystique Rowe, the push world champion. Mimi Reneva here, she's had medals. It's really tough. We've got 27 athletes in the field. I'd say there are 10 potential winners and about 15 potential medalists. We could have it going absolutely according to knowledge. We could have some real wild cards, and the weather's going to play a part. We don't know what the weather will do tomorrow. This morning, we're in the clouds. It looks misty. When you're walking around, you feel the water on your face, so the track will slow dramatically from the very first slider, who's our World Cup points leader, Janine Flock. She's also the most experienced. This is her 12th World Championships. So she has got medals on this track before now. She's got all the experience to handle the pressure. And for some, we've got half a dozen first-time World Championship starters. They're going to be in the spotlight. First race of the BMW IBSF World Championships Women's Skeleton. Janine Flock, in her 12th World Championship start, gets us underway for Austria. Silver medalist in Innsbruck, her home track, back in 2016. She's had team medals as well.
Yeah, it's going to be a very interesting competition to see who can manage 4 consistent runs, because I think that's going to be the key on this track, which definitely is not so fast as everyone expected. Gianni has enough experience, so let's see what she can put. She's first off the hill, and I think the World Championship title, it's the only thing which she is missing in her career.
Yeah. Out of corner 5, that's where you really start to accelerate down the hill. Then this little 6-7 run into the Kreisel.
Very nice flat lining Kreisel, yeah, not any waves.
And then again from corner 9, this really slingshots you down the mountain.
Nice exit out of 9. 11 looks distance. She looks so relaxed on the sled, but this is not just about her lines, it's just about the timing. Speed is not so high. 1:27.2. 58, 56 is not a bad time at all on this weather.
No. And I can imagine by the end of the top 20, the track will be feeling a lot slower. And bear in mind, of course, we've got the best athletes on their performance this season starting at the front of the field. So you expect the speeds to drop anyway, but the humidity won't help.
Yeah, and it's very tough when you are first because you don't know what to expect. You don't know if it is fast enough. You don't know if you did a good run or no.
Yeah. I guess you feel that it felt good, but then the last day of training here for Skeleton was very, very wet on Monday. Water was running down the track. No, well, there you go. She said, we'll see how that went. Okay, next up from Belgium, and again, lots of fans here to support Kim Marmans, European Championship gold medalist this season. The 27-year-old made her debut here in Winterberg back in 2015 in the World Champs.
It's her 8th World Champs, and she's not so old compared with Janine Flock, but she made a huge progress every year, and I think this is one of her best seasons so far. 5:29, it's an amazing getaway, and look at that speed. She has already 1 more kilometer per hour faster than Janine.
Well, she's been in the top 10 here, 5 of her 8 World Cup races, but a best of 9th place, so she has a bit more of a start. And this is where she needs to put it all together.
Exactly, and it seems like it's her chance because she has a great season. She knows Winterberg well. Her push is going well. Her whole season is going well. And look at the speed.
Yeah, 3/10 up on Janine Flock. Now, the real thing with this track is you can be behind or ahead down to the penultimate speed trap, and then the final corner, the uphill seal curve, can either reward you for good lines or murder your speed if you get it wrong.
3/10.
Yeah,
and
gap coming down.
Seconds best speed, but this is a big advantage.
Yep, 58.28. And again, on this track, you really can't even have one poor run. It just is going to murder your speed so much. You saw there Ander Mirambel and Richard Bromley, the sled builder. Richard and Kristen Bromley both building sleds. There's Joske LeConte, a sled skeleton as well for many years. Well, she nearly had the victory roll off the final corner, but a good strong start, 5:29. We will see.
Yeah, and she had great lines, and I think everything went pretty well. But let's don't forget that it's a 4 runs competition, and even if she has almost 3/10, this cannot be enough yet.
Well, what you don't want is to have to come from behind. What you'd like is to have some speed advantage. Let's see what Kimberly Boss has got to produce. Silver medalist last year, the Olympic bronze medalist in 2022. This is her 7th Worlds. She made her debut in Innsbruck in 2016. She was 8th then. But she has a silver medal from last year in the World Champs in St. Moritz.
A lot of noise, a lot of fans, and it's so nice to see that.
Yeah.
Let's see what Kimberly can produce here.
She's won the last 2 races on this track, 5:32, just a whisker behind Kim Marmans. And another Bromley sled, this one built by Kristen Bromley, who's also coaching her.
Yeah, it's amazing to see what they are doing together. They have, even if it's still a very small team, it seems like a huge one. Like they have everything put together, and Kimberly is doing an amazing job.
And her sled is really like a Savile Row suit. It is absolutely tailored, not just to the shape of her body, but what she needs as a slider. It works for her. It wouldn't work for anybody else in the field. Those are, you know, they are so purpose-built, and she's already creeping into lead over Kim Marmans.
Biggest speed so far, and her lines are looking amazing. 900 ahead, second best speed.
Yeah, little flop out of 12, second best speed at the line, and 10th up.
Yeah.
Okay, so the winner on this track the last 2 years has a slender advantage. Kim Boss, Kim Marmans, Janine Flock, your top 3 so far. None of the Germans have gone yet, and this is home ice for Jacqueline Pfeiffer. Hannah Nice, the Olympic champion, who comes up next.
Yeah, a very nice run from Kimberly. I think she did everything what she could. She just need to maintain it like that all 4 runs.
Well, this place habitually gives us lots of very, very close races where a 100th or 2 can make a big difference. Tiny little hover of the toe. Did she steer it? No, she didn't.
Here, yeah, she climbed it a little bit too much, that curve 0, but she managed it well. I saw a lot of sliders which they prefer to enter in curve 1 a bit later, just to take advantage of that downhill.
You see she's got a little gouge there on her chin from the chin hitting the ice. So the Olympic champion Hannah Neise, hometown queen or one of them. This is her home track. 3rd world champs for her. Her best result, 7th place in Altenburg 2021.
Yeah, it's crazy to see that an Olympic champion like Hannah, who made absolutely amazing progress in last year, she has just best place in world champs, 7th place. So let's see what she can do here. It's her home track. She's sliding here for, I don't know, maybe 10 years already, and I think the lines won't be a problem for her. But let's see if she can put together a very good run to catch some, to get some fast speed and catch the others.
The real problem with having a slower start is you need more ice to catch up from that slow start, but she's got the top speed exiting the Kreisel.
Exactly. Let's see now, deficit, still best speed so far, 1500s on the back.
Right, but she has not clawed in our leader, Kimberly Boss. Clean so far, now she's got speed. Best speed of all, she will come, but not into the lead at the line. 2200s back, she didn't catch her.
3rd, yeah.
Yeah, well, she had better speed down at the bottom, but maybe just had to work a little too hard. Now, I'm not sure what the German weather forecasters were saying about the weather this morning. If you were expecting cold conditions and not damp, you might have gone for a runner for harder ice than we've got today, and that digs in a little more, causes a bit more friction, and we're talking fractional changes here.
Yeah, exactly. I know Hannah, she's part of my generation when we started to slide together. She was at the Youth Olympics also, and then directly when she started to slide with us, she was already one of the most experienced. She was sliding from a very, very young age here.
Just seeing the transition there, the athlete bouncing up and down off the sled. That's what you meant about rough at the bottom. It's not that the ice is rough, it's that the transitions whip you around. So next up, Valentina Margali of Italy. 14th place only in the world since Samarit's last time out. Just 1 spot ahead of Hannah Neise, in fact. But this is her 6th World Championship. She made her debut in Koenigsee back in 2017.
Yeah, Valentina made also an amazing progress. She has now a great coach, Willi Schneider, who is setting up the sleds amazing. Let's see the push time, which it's her advantage on this track. 5:26. I was expecting a little bit faster from her, but the curve 0, she managed it great. Oh, but just 5th velocity.
Yeah, the 0 curve is not the first corner on the track. Curve 1, the first corner, the left-hander, and the 0 curve was built when the new start area was built, so that the bobsleigh, skeleton and luge tracks could all join together.
Valentina a little bit too high there, and a little bit of skid between 5 and 6. 5th best speed, and that's gonna cost.
You can hear the chin of the helmet scraping on the ice.
Yeah, every 100 matters here. A little bit too early entry in 9. She's remaining with 5th best speed, and I think she's fighting there with Janis Vlok.
Yeah, lowest speed so far, and she's not got the control she wants. You can see her heels far apart. The idea is to have your heels together, be most aerodynamic.
Still 5th best speed, or 58.91. Not the run she wanted, probably.
No.
Something didn't work out so well there, and I think Willi has a question mark also now.
She's often a quick starter, but this is not a track that has gone well for her. So 5th at the moment, but 3/4 of a second back in 1 heat.
Yeah, she's kind of a person who is very nervous. She wants to do a lot, and I'm expecting a much faster start in the second run after she will relax a bit more. She can do much better than 5:26. I'm sure about that.
Yeah. Well, start record, Elena Nikitina's 5:07. That will have been in very different conditions back in 2021.
Yeah. This 14, it's actually the most tricky part of the track.
Yeah, a bit of a roll out of the final corner almost. You see a lot of sleds in skeleton and bobsleigh riding high in that final corner to build the speed. Kimberly Boss, the leader, after the first 5 sleds.
Mimi Raneva is the next one on the start. She has a bronze last year.
Yep.
And even if she started her season not so well, she's putting everything together now just before World Champs when it's most important. And I think she's more motivated and ready than ever to to climb on that podium. And look at that. Even if it's not the fastest start, she has the best velocity so far, and that's extremely important.
Yeah, 100th of a second up over the leader, Kimberly Bosch. She builds on that immediately. So Kim started 5:32, Mimi 5:31. She's right in the frame. She was a bronze medalist in one of the 2 races last season on this track.
A little toe tap there, and that's why the speed isn't the fastest. A bit wavy also in the Kreisel. So let's see how the time is going. She's bleeding a little bit, 400 to the back. 5th best speed so far. Very nice exit out of 9.
Now in the second heat, the top 25 will be going in reverse order, followed by the rest of the field. So if you're a little bit further back, you should get slightly better ice. 58.34 is the run, and that leaves her in 3rd place, just 1600ths of a second back.
Yeah, she's still there. She's still there with everyone, and that's most important. And she did some little mistakes there on that transition 5, 6, 7. She can do better. Mimi is in the game.
Eric Nielsen helping out with the sled at the bottom. Lots of former Canadian sliders being brought back in by their coach Joe Cicchini. Little hard transition there, just got on a little early.
Exactly, and that's why he's pushing you late in 13, but in skeleton is not such a big problem here.
Again, trying to be as relaxed as possible at 75 miles an hour head first. The body acts as a damper. There's no suspension in the sleds, and the body, if you're relaxed, acts as a damper. If you're tight, then you exaggerate the vibrations and make it even harder for yourself. Suzanne Crea, our world champion at just 24 years of age in St. Moritz last year, came out as a big shock to everybody. Also took team gold in St. Moritz. So she's had 1 World Championships and she's got 2 world golds.
Exactly, so Suzanne, she's growing, she's starting to be one of the main athletes in the German team, and that's not easy to do. 5:40. I think she's the fastest German so far at the start, and that's why is no doubt that she's going to be in the World Championship team for Germany. And let's see what she can produce.
Now, Germany's 4-time world champion, Tina Hermann, was in a race-off here for one of 2 spots. Suzanne Crea and Jacqueline Pfeiffer both beat her. So the 4-time world champion is not here for Germany.
Very nice lines, 5, 6, and look at the Kreisel, very flat, not any wave. Let's see how that it's in the times.
And again, look at the heels.
700, wow, that's actually, I didn't expect that. 6th best speed so far. Something is not going so well for Suzanne.
Heels together, doing as little steering as humanly possible. Out to 3600s back. The Germans were expecting harder ice, weren't they? The runners, you can choose how fat your runner is and set it up. You can see the spray here on the outrun from the drizzle.
Yeah, probably the weather and the ice surprised a little bit the Germans. Hanna and Suzanne had very nice run, also very nice start for them, but I don't know, no speed for them yet.
4300s back. It's going to be tough to defend the World Championships from there. She's got 3 heats where she's got to be at least a 1/10 of a second better than everybody else just to get up to the top of the pile again, and I'm not sure that's going to happen.
Yeah, it's not an easy job.
Well, the medals could move around. The weather is going to have a big effect, but you can see what it means to her. That was not what she was hoping for. Our 3rd German slider then is very much the hometown queen. Silver medalist here in 2015 in the World Championships behind Lizzie Arnold. And ahead of Elizabeth Vache, Elizabeth Meyer as she now is, Jackie Pfeiffer. 8th World Championship start.
Yeah, and I think she's one of the most decorated starter on this start list for our World Champs. She has already 4 medals.
Yep, gold and 3 silvers, including her debut here, 550, and that is what's kept her out of the German World Cup team so long for the last 2 or 3 seasons, is she does not have a great start, but she knows how to win medals. Seen as soon as Tina Hermann. Don't look at their start times, look at their medal count.
Exactly. That's what German sleds are doing. That's what German athletes are doing. That's why they are known for what they are doing.
She's got huge support here from 25 to 28.
Look at that, for biggest, best, fastest speed so far.
Now, has she stopped losing time? Out of the Kreisel, nice and clean. 270-degree Kreisel, only third best speed. I don't think there's much left in the track. I think everybody now is going to find it very hard, even off a rocket start. 3,400s back. She's really limiting the damage. Ahead of Janine Flock. This could be a top 4 run. It is fifth place, tied. No, 400s ahead of Janine Flock.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
yeah, it was still looking good. She's had the best speed so far at the entry of Kreisel, but I think it's still something not going so well with the setup for the German sleds today, because lines are looking absolutely perfect and just the final speed is not there yet.
I think she's okay with that. I think she feels that was a good run. I do think because when we came in, it was starting to drizzle, and you can see the umbrellas up. It is raining. The track will slow dramatically. I think she's got real potential, you know.
Yeah. One more run today, 2 more tomorrow, so a lot can change.
First World Championships, well, first sliding World Championships for Mystique Rowe. She is our push World Champion from Lake Placid last year. Now, expect her to go gangbusters at the start. Does not have vast experience. Raced here 2 years in Europe Cup and then another season in Intercontinental Cup, the second tier of sliding that used to exist. 5:22.
Fastest speed so far. And that's her advantage. Mystique Rowe, biggest velocity so far. Mystique made also an amazing progress in last year. She won in her World Cup season debut already 2 medals.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised if she will be there fighting for a medal.
A 10th ahead, out to 1,800s ahead of Kimberly Boss, a 2-time winner on this track. Now the gap starts to come down. Little hard transition, 5 to 6. See the ankles apart in the Kreisel. That's just for stability on the sled.
200s on the back, 8 best speed. She's gonna lose a little bit, but let's see how much.
I think she's in the frame. That start here always gives you a chance. 1,200s back. She's working hard at the bottom, and she'll probably lose another 10th by the line. Yeah, 58.42.
But she's 5th. She's in the game too. It's very, very close.
200s behind 4th place Hannah Nizer, and 800s behind 3rd place Mimi Reniva. Mystique Rowe is very much in the game, and that's her first ever World Championship push. And that means, I don't care who you are and how much experience you've got, it's special, and there will be a little bit of nerves and excitement. So that one's out of the way. I think she could only get better. That was a long, late exit there.
Yeah, out of 5, you don't want to do that. And this always has been a tricky part. But this year, the tracker did a great job, and there is no so much ice, so it's not pushing you. You are not skidding so much there, and it's a little bit easier.
All right, Mystique Rowe in the frame. What about Hallie Clark of Canada? 2nd World Championships, but only her first as a Canadian. Say what now? Because last year she slid as an American athlete in St. Moritz. Under 20 gold medalist in the Junior World Championships here a couple of seasons ago. In fact, January last year. And Junior World Silver. 5:34, another good starter.
Yeah, it's a future star for I would say Canadian program, probably. Maybe gonna be American program lately, I don't know. But she has huge potential, and it's so nice to see how she is fighting at the top level so at such a young age.
Yeah, I think she's back in Canada for good now that the Federation have sorted themselves out a little. That's why she slid for America last year.
Biggest speed so far.
Yeah, I think she's got the potential to be the next Liz Varche, the next Jane Channel.
Let's see if she can maintain it. Still 500, and she still has 2nd best speed. This is a very nice run from Hallie Clark.
I tell you what, you could put an orange helmet on her and think she was German. She's really got these lines
100.
still in the lead.
6 best speed. I think she's going to be 200-300s behind, maybe.
How far back?
200.
200s.
Wow, that's an amazing run from Hallie. Good job.
And almost the victory roll off the final corner, the highest, widest last corner we've seen so far. What a start to the Worlds for Hallie Clark. Yes, look at that smile.
Whoa, watch out.
In fact, maybe the Germans would prefer to have had her sled and her helmet because she absolutely outclassed them all. It's Kim Boss by 200 from Canada's Hallie Clark.
Yeah, she maintained that speed and she was looking super relaxed. She doesn't seem that she was steering too much and looked at that exit of 14. Yeah, and look how wet is the track.
Yeah, well, the water running down the outrun.
Yeah, let's consider also her start number. She went 10 on the hill, so wow, that's impressive.
The 19-year-old lies in second. 10 down, 17 to go. First of 4 heats of the Women's Skeleton World Championships. James Howard holding the sled for Great Britain's Tabby Sturker. She has only had 21 runs on this track before the start of training for the World, so very inexperienced here. 12th here on her World Cup debut last year, took Junior World silver as well.
Yeah, but she has a start. She has 5:20 fastest to start so far. She has an amazing start. She has an amazing team behind. So she has everything she needs to put everything together, even if she doesn't have enough experience on this track.
And her athletic background, well, it's not athletics. She came from circus skills, so she's a trapeze artist. Who knew that they could run and slide? Well, Tabby Sturker, with a start like that, you're
very nice exit out of 5 and 6.
Still.
Yeah.
Now, the final corner, because of all the water coming down 13, is going to make a big difference. So the more she's got when she gets there, the better a chance she'll have of being right in the frame.
A little tap there before 9. That's going to cost a little bit, but she's still on first place. 400. Let's see now the speed. 6th best speed is going to be very close to Kimberly Boss and Hallie Clark.
Second or third.
Third.
Line 700's back. Suddenly, the Germans are out of the frame and the kids are in it.
Yeah.
19-year-old Hallie Clark, 23-year-old newcomer Tabby Sturker.
Next generation, yeah. Wow. It's crazy to see that the first German is just on 6th place right now.
And again, if it wasn't raining, that final corner would be a 10th quicker.
Probably.
Because you're coming uphill through water.
Very nice load. She got in her position a little bit, not so fast, a little bit slow, but her lines were looking very good. And look how relaxed she is.
All right.
Very good run for Tabby.
Lizzie Arnold's 2015 last.
She's very excited.
Skeleton World champion. She could be a medalist here. Xiaodan of China. I mean, this is another of the new young generation, isn't it? Just 21 years old. Tabby Sturker was 23rd in St. Moritz last year. Xiaodan was 10th. She could be a real challenge. Only her second Worlds.
Yeah, and she has a German sled.
Yep.
540. Oh, big drift there. You don't want to do that, and that's why it's 12 velocity. That's gonna cost her time.
So last year was her first Worlds, 2022 her first Olympics, 2020 she was a youth Olympian in St. Moritz in the Lausanne Games, so she's used to the big days already, and she's still only 21.
Yeah, and she started the season with a banger, with that silver medal in Yanking. But it seems like in Europe she didn't manage to put everything together so well, maybe because she's not so experienced.
Not quite so much, but again, the lines are looking good. The speed, the form is looking good, but the speed is not there.
Yeah, 7,300, and I think she's going to be our last right now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Battling, yeah, even behind Valentina Margaglia, 59.06. Look at the ice closely when you see the next sled coming down. Even here on the outrun, it's only looking glossy because there's water drizzling down it. For most of the covered section of the track, you can see that the ice is a very matte, non-reflective surface, and that's because the refrigeration is on hard to preserve the ice in the rain. And that slows you down. The frost grips the runners.
Yeah, she did some mistakes, especially that one after curve 0 costed a lot of her time. You don't want to do that. So let's see what she can put together. She can still climb some spots. She can still find some speed on the track.
Well, there's Xiaodan. Next up is our second World Championship debutant. We've got a whole host who have only done one Worlds before in St. Moritz. But for Amelia Coltman of Great Britain, it is a debut. 27-year-old, raced here in the junior categories 2 or 3 times, but not experienced on this track. European Cup silver, Intercontinental bronze medal. So when she has been here, she's been very good.
Let's see what she can do. World Championship debut.
Yeah, very excited. She hasn't even raced World Cup here. Tiny little toe tap going into the zero curve.
5:41, a very decent start and a very nice exit out of zero. She managed it great, and that's why she has 5th velocity with 10th best start.
That's superb. That's really keeping the speed alive within 500ths of the leader. This is a huge moment for Amelia Coltman. Really her first time in the World Championship spotlight. First run.
300. Fastest speed so far. I wasn't expecting that. Amelia Coltman, it's coming. She's coming.
Wow. Tabby Sturker currently lying in 3rd. Amelia Coltman closing in on the leader. Only 6th best speed out of the Kreisel.
700. She's there. She's going to be in top 5th, I think.
Wow.
That's a very nice arm. 1100s. She's coming in second best
speed. Could be, well, 10th place is 4th, or 4th place is
5th place.
Away. 5th place, 1400s back. Matthias Guggenberger and Martin Stukus, who you see at the bottom, are responsible for this British sled program. Boy, they've really got it going on today.
Yeah, they set it amazing, the sleds, for sure. Both British sliders showed amazing speeds. And she still did some mistakes, especially in that part 7, 8, 9. So
was she just saying that she wasn't quite on the sled, that her shoulders weren't in the right place?
I think maybe something like that.
And that affects the balance, because the runners are like a rocking chair. And if you sit forward in a rocking chair, it leans on the front. If you sit backwards, it leans on the back. You want it to be right on the balance point in the middle. And yeah,
exactly, yeah.
Wild exit of the final corner.
It's such a complex sport.
Rachel, love you, frame.
Yeah, it's such a complex sport, like everything matters in skeleton.
Shout out to her teammate Freya Tarbit, who's not competing this weekend. Next up for Brazil, Nicole Silveira. 5th world champs for Nicole, made her debut on what is home ice for her, because she lives in Canada in Whistler. 25th place there, but St. Moritz, she was in 16th spot last year.
Yeah, it's absolutely impressive to see a nation like Brazil, how much she grow. Like, she's almost in top 10 in the world, and it's absolutely impressive. Nicole did an amazing progress, and I remember when she started to slide, how many braces she had, how many crashes and hits she got, but she didn't give up, and now she's already a professional. It's one of the best in the world. Now
working and training with Kimberly Bos, the Netherlands. They share coaching together, so she's not just in a little team of one. Lives in Canada. She's a nurse in Calgary, but slides for her native Brazil.
Yeah, they have a team together with Kim Meilemans, not Kimberly Bos.
Sorry, Belgium.
And yeah, they are doing a great job. They are pushing together, and
another Richard Bromley slider, 7th best speed.
Yeah.
Is she going to make it into the top 12 across the line? She's 12th, ahead of Valentina Margallo. There's Richard on the left, and Mirambel on the right, and they work with the Spanish athletes as well. We'll see Spanish athletes in the men's race, women's race.
Yeah, they have a very nice team together there, and Nicole did a very nice run. Actually, her push wasn't the best. I think she can do better, and she lost a little bit, but it's not gone yet.
A good form as ever. So much relies on just gelling with the sled. You have
exactly. Look how relaxed she was. Yeah.
It's like racing a motorcycle. The human element is so much of a factor in it. Bobsleigh is much more like racing cars. Skeleton is definitely like racing motorbikes. Yeah. All right. First heat done and dusted for Brazil, as next we get to Li Yuqi of China. 2nd world champs for her. Raced in the team competition as well as the individual race in St. Moritz. 2 gold medals in her Europe Cup appearances here. She raced in the Junior Worlds and in last year's World Cup as well. Inside the top 20. Missed the cut in the final heat in St. Moritz last year, though. 5:38 is the getaway. That's a middle of the field start. That's
But,
that 8th
yeah,
quickest.
but she did same mistake as her teammate. She's climbing too much on that curve 0, and she can't manage it to keep the runner straight. And drift is gonna cost a lot. Like she had 8th best start, and she had 40 best velocity.
Yeah, down to 15th on the split times, 3/10 away. She needs to be super quiet now to try and regain that speed.
Yeah, the Chinese girls, I would say they are not yet at the same level as the Chinese boys, but they are also younger, so probably going to see a lot more from them in next years.
Yep. And their target will be to try and hit peak form for Milan Cortina 2026. Second back, 15th place at the moment, so she's going to be behind teammate Xiao Dan. And that's the first battle for both of them, is to be the best Chinese slider. 59.43 is her first of 4 potential runs. Now, up until this year, only the fastest 20 have gone through in the World Championships. This year, though, the rules in World Cup and World Championships, because the fields are bigger, the fastest 25 go through into the final run.
Yeah, and actually it's interesting to see that the World Championship field, it's a little bit smaller than the World Cup field. So for some of the athletes, it's actually an easier competition for them, you know.
Yes.
That they are not 4 German girls. Some nations don't have 3 athletes anymore. They have just 2. And it's sad to see that just 2 of our starters won't catch the 4th run.
Well, big mistakes early on from Liu Qi. Kimberly Boss still the first heat leader.
Next up, it's Alessia Kripa. I remember her also. She's part of my generation, and she made a huge progress also. She has an amazing team on the back, and she is in her 4th World Champs, and she didn't do such a great job till now, and she's very humble and motivated to show that that was a mistake, because she can do way more, especially with that start 5:29, but a very big skid there.
Yeah, not great.
4 best speed, 15 best velocity.
Yeah, it's skidding it all away. You know, that makes it a 5:49 start. You're jogging off at the top if you had that mistake.
Exactly, and even if, for example, in bobsleigh, that's gonna cost you like 110. Look at her; she's already half a second behind. Like in skeleton, that mistake is just killing your time.
For Valentina Margalio, her teammate is down in 13th place, 73 hundredths back. I don't think Alessia Kripa is going to be even that close. She'll be over a second back, behind Liu Qi, or maybe just ahead of the Chinese slider. Now, that's not the start she needed.
Yeah, she couldn't find the speed anymore, and she has the slowest speed so far. Yeah. She lost a lot there after curve 0. I mean, she can do better. She can do better.
She hasn't made the cut so far. She didn't make the cut in either World Championships in Altenburg, and not in St. Moritz either. And I think that might be her. It probably won't be, because 25 of the 27 will make the 4th and final heat. But that gives her a lot of work to do, Alessia Kripa. And that big skid off the 0 curve, didn't take it at all right, hit the wall, and then skidding into curve 1. Yeah.
She did some mistakes there. I think she was super nervous, but she still has 3 runs. You can do it. You can do better.
Yeah. Okay, there
exactly. More runs to come.
There is a chance for redemption. What about Jane Channel? 7th World Champs, one of the most experienced. Team's bronze in Altenburg 2020. Made a debut in Winterberg 2015, where she was 4th.
Exactly, and that's her best result so far in World Champs, and it's another athlete on the field who was here 9 years ago.
Yep.
It's crazy to believe that it was 9 years ago.
Finished 6th in St. Moritz, was dropped for her home worlds in Whistler in 2019, which broke her heart. But she's been a bronze medalist on this track
5:25 and a very nice exit out of 0.
She's got
3rd best velocity.
chance.
Yeah, she's coming.
She's got a real chance, Jane Channel. She starts well. She knows this track so well.
She has experience, and she's still first at the moment. Jane had a very rough here. She started very well, and unfortunately there was a misunderstood with that crash she had in Eagles. In my opinion, she shouldn't be disqualified, but That's what they decided, and that pulled her back a little bit, her motivation too. But it's good to see her that she still qualified, and she can still fight now for probably a top 6 right now. She lost a little bit of speed.
Top 10 at the minute, hanging around with Jacqueline Pfeiffer and Janine Flock. She's going to be behind the Olympic champion the world champion Suzanne Crea, and behind Nicole Silveira as well. 7,300 back, tied with Valentina Margalio. Yeah, the story of Innsbruck, if you didn't see it, she flew off the final corner through the air, but crossed the line still attached to a sled. The problem is she didn't actually break the timing beam because she was going over the top of it.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's no actual rule for that other than if you don't make the finish and break the line, then you get disqualified.
It's crazy to see how many things happen to her in Eagles with that broom, with that crash. Like, she's very unlucky there, but I think she did a good run here, a good push, but also the track is slowing down for sure.
Yeah, 17 start draw, and that's as a result of having no points from Innsbruck. She should perhaps have been a top 10 starter otherwise.
Yeah, she's gonna climb a little bit on the next runs, I'm sure about that.
First time in the Worlds for Alessandra Fumagalli, here twice in Europe Cup, in the Junior Worlds in 2020, and raced in the World Cup here last year. She was 21st there, but this is her World Championship debut. Looks like the fog or the cloud is getting thicker. 5.30.
It's very nice to see how strong at the start they are, all 3 Italians. And Alexandra, finally she made the World Cup team. They have 3 spots for World Championship, and that's impressive. That shows how much they've grown. And they are aiming for Milano. Milano, it's coming.
700s back. Let's see where she is exiting the Kreisel. Oh, the gap is growing. The Italians are all losing speed for one reason or another. Her zero curve was much better than Alessia Crippa's.
Exactly, and that's why she is in front of her, but
the speed
is just gone. Exactly.
Totally gone. Now, how much of that is set up? How much of that is track?
Whoa! Very,
hang on in 11 and 12. Boom, across the line. That's a very bruising run.
And suddenly, from, I guess, a 12-13 place, she's last. She has such a rough part there. 13-14, wow.
Alessia Crippa 17th, Alessandra Fumagalli 18th, and that will have absolutely battered her. They're doing 120 plus kilometers an hour, and being thrown against the wall at that speed is not fun.
Yeah, that's hurting. Yeah, I want to see the replay. Yeah, she's very high there at 12. She is entering very early in 13, and she's pushing her very late, and she was super relaxed, and probably she didn't notice. And look at that heat. Oh, you don't want to do that. Like, that's just killing your speed, because that 14 is so much uphill.
Yeah. I mean, look how high she was on the exit of 14. I don't think I've seen anybody that high up in years. Yeah, well, it was dramatic, but it was not quick. So 19th of our 27 sliders in her 6 World Championships. The Czech Republic's Anna Fernstedt gets going immediately. Team bronze in 2017 in Koenigsegg. That was a mixed team event, men and women's bobsleigh, men and women's skeleton.
And she has a 4th place in Koenigsegg when she was representing Germany. But since that, she wasn't getting too close to that results anymore.
Well, she had a 4th place in Whistler for the Czech Republic as well when she changed. But now she's building and running her own sled, so there's a whole lot of other work in progress there too.
Exactly, and I know that she went through very hard times lately, but somehow everything put it together last week when she won a silver medal in the team competition, and that was absolutely huge for a small nation like Czech Republic.
And she was racing for her dad, who had passed away a week earlier. In fact, between then and now, she's trained on Sunday and Monday, then driven back to the Czech Republic for the funeral of her father and back to compete for him in the World Champs. And across the line, 59.39, 16th place.
Yeah, I think she got enough motivation after last week, but this track it won't help her with that start number.
Well, she needs fast ice.
Exactly.
She's got the 19th fastest start. She's outdriven that into 16th. If the track was hard and fast, that would have been 12th. So, yeah, you know, she's got the ability here. She's been a medalist on this track. She knows how to get down here.
But she's going to go one of the first in the second run, and that's going to be interesting because she can climb some spots. And let's remember last week what she did in Altenberg. She was 22 after first run, and then she won the second run.
Yeah. All right, next up is Switzerland's Sarah Schmid. Made her World Championship debut in St. Moritz last year. She's just 18 years of age.
Exactly, youngest competitor in the field.
Yeah.
By far.
Yes, well, by a year from Hallie Clark, yes, exactly. Raced here in the Under-20 Junior Worlds last year. She took the silver medal. And she raced the year before in Europe Cup as well. So again, limited on experience everywhere, and here is not much different.
Yeah, it was a very hard period for Swiss sliding for the girls after Marina Gilardoni quit, and there was like a hole there in the team. But finally, they found this young girl who has a huge potential, and she showed some amazing runs actually this year, and just 18. So she had
from nothing after Marina Giardoni was forced to retire. They've now got two athletes in the World Cup and the World Championship, so the program has got good roots.
Exactly. Hello, Marina, if you are watching, and thank you for all your help which you put together. Also for me, she was a very kind person.
Yeah. It's always great to have her around. Started in bobsleigh, converted to skeleton. You went the other way. 1.15 back, 19th. She's in among the Italians, and she's just behind Alessandra Fumigali by 300ths of a second. And again, as you said, they'll go in reverse order in the second heat, so she will have less worse ice. And progressively, as we get down to leaders, the ice is likely to be slower and slower and slower.
Exactly. Unfortunately, it's very, very obvious that the track just slowed down. And I don't think you can do too much with this ice, with this start number anymore. But it's important to fight as much as you can, because then it's coming second run and you're going to be one of the first.
And the other thing is you're learning something today that you may not have learned in training, although this is quite similar to Monday's weather. So yeah, then you can put that into use for the second heat. And the same tomorrow, the ice will be slightly different, whatever the temperature and weather conditions are in the first heat. You've got to use that to go through into the final run.
Exactly.
So 2 heats this morning, 2 heats tomorrow for our skeleton athletes, and then they race in the team competition on Friday. Kimberly Boss leads a very narrow top 6 covered by 1600s. Julia Erlacher is our 4th debutante in the field, 23 years of age, raced here in Europe Cup and Junior Worlds, did 3 World Cups last season, 5 so far this year, so becoming a full-time World Cup starter. Out from under the rain, out from under the roof into the rain, got quite a lot of the zero curve, but a good start, 5:33.
Yeah, good, very good start, and actually that curve zero wasn't that bad, and that's why she has 8 velocity.
Yeah,
and she's just 900 behind it. But as I said, let's see if she can maintain that as much as she can, because we know that the track slowed down.
Well, listen, if you're not 2 tenths back by the Kreisel, then you really are having a decent run. But yeah, the speed is going away. That's the frost on the ice. It's covered for most of its length, this track, so the rain doesn't get on the ice, but the frost really just slows you down.
18 best speed so far, and I don't see there any big mistakes. It's just because the ice, but she's coming. Second
Again,
run, she will
so
come.
smooth, nice down the bottom, good lines.
It's not enough, unfortunately. That's Winterberg, and she's 18. She's still there with some athletes. She can climb some spots.
Well, we just saw Anna Fernstedt go from a 21st place start to 16th, and we've now seen Julia Erlacher go from a 10th fastest start down to 18th at the line, and that's really the lack of experience on this track. Anna Fernstedt started in the German program. She will have spent months sliding here. Erlacher, only days.
Exactly. She has a very nice technique at the start and a very nice load also. And her lines were looking decent. She's a very nice prospect for the Austrian program.
Yeah. And in terms of spending days here, if you're spending days at a racetrack, you might do hundreds of laps. Here, you'll do 3 runs a day, tops, maybe 2 most days. So days spent at the track, you know, you're counting on one hand how many minutes you spend on ice in a race week. It's insane. Another debutante, 22-year-old Swiss, Julia Simpson. Another Connie sled skeleton. Her father was a bobsledder. Her father's father was an Olympic champion bobsledder. So she's got a lot of sliding heritage in her family. Briefly slid for Germany as well after starting out in the Swiss program, then returned to Switzerland last year.
Exactly, and she was some years in the German program. She did some Europa Cup races, and I'm sure she learned a lot there.
5:73 start, 22nd at the start.
Yeah, her start is not her best at all here, but she's driving well, and let's see if she can build something back.
And for most of our rookies, making the final cut, the last run in the field, you don't want to be watching it, you want to be in it. And then wherever you can go from there, top 20 always sounds better than 21st, and 15th sounds better than 16th.
And so on, yeah. Exactly. She did a little mistake there on Chrysler. It was way too wavy, and that's why she hit before 8. And this 14 is also very wavy, and she's
dragging a toe at the line there. 60.80. There were a lot slower slides in training. She's the first athlete who's in the 60s, and there were a lot in training that were 60, 61 second runs. So actually the track is not as slow as it was on Monday, but it sure ain't fast.
Exactly. She seems disappointed. Actually, it was a very slow run. She's by far to her teammate almost 1 second. Whoa!
I know.
Wow.
Yeah. And again, that's just trying to hang on to the speed. And when the speed is low, the sled doesn't climb so high up the corners. The steers that you've been used to practicing don't work. And then you're scrambling. Final, beg your pardon, second World Cup start for Ana Torres Quevedo. She made her debut in St. Moritz, still just 22, only her 3rd season of racing and her first full season in the World Cup. Raced here 3 times in Europe Cup. She was in the Junior Worlds last year as well in January, 23.
She has experience with under on the back also. She knows very well what she has to do on the track. Her start is not the best, but from a small nation, it's already very important that you represented at such a high level. And let's see what she can do. Till now, lines are looking very nice, very smooth. She's relaxed. And I'm sure she's way more confident than she was last week in Altenberg.
Absolutely. And for her and Adrian Fernandez, her male counterpart, they'll probably do the team race as well. You know, it's a little bit less about what they do as athletes, but it's inspiring the next generation. That's what Andrew has done. He's basically created this whole program, found new athletes, developed them, coaching them, finding the funding, running the team, so that there's a legacy. He loved the sport so much.
Exactly.
Didn't want it to die in Spain.
It's not easy at all what he is doing. And she's 23rd at the line.
61.52.
Probably here it's going to be the fight for who's going to catch the 4th run for tomorrow.
Yeah, I think she'll be in that battle. There'll be a couple of others. Julia Simpson, potentially. Maybe Katrina Eigenmann, who we'll see in a moment or two from Liechtenstein. I don't know. It's always tough to call. You know, one mistake or one lack of mistake can make such a difference. Well, her Achilles heel really is the start. That's a 6:03 getaway. That is a second off the track start record, but we are 2 to 3 tenths off the start record anyway, even for our quick starters. So this is not a quick start track. It's not a quick track. Our final debutant then is Elin Peltmans of Belgium, just 21 years of age. Her first World Championships, but she's already a Youth Olympian from 2020. She finished 11th in the Youth Olympic Games in St. Moritz.
Yeah, Alina is making also very nice progress, and it's nice to see that with the new rules, they have to do some World Cup starts. So that's just forcing you to grow faster, you know, and that's a very good thing because you are already known with a lot of good athletes around you, and everything so on.
And for her, she has the Belgium of being a young, the benefit of being a young athlete, but she's got Kim Marmans as a teammate. She's got that, you know, Richard Bromley sliding program that she can slot into as well. She's got everything that a young athlete wants. Good sled, good coaching, good teammate. Not a bad looking run either. 21st at the start, 22nd at the moment. She's the 24th athlete, so she's already positioning herself with a chance to move up towards the top 20 in the second heat. 18th best speed at the bottom.
Yeah, she should be in top 20, so let's see.
22nd, 59.83, but she's ahead of Julia Simpson of Switzerland and Anna Torres-Quevedo, and she's only 1100s behind Switzerland's Sarah Schmidt, and 1400s out of the top 20.
Yeah, it's a very tight battle there, and as I said, star number didn't help, so I'm sure she can prove us that she can do much better in the second run.
I think that was a pretty nice looking run.
Yeah, she's gonna be third, maybe fourth on the start list for the second run. So let's see. Here she climbed way too much on curve 0 and a little bit of skid, but that's not the fault of that time.
If she was a little nervous and a little tight at the first start in your first Worlds with a big crowd at the top, I'm not at all surprised. All right, big smile from Elin Pelkmans, our final rookie in the field. We have 3 more sliders to go now. Data Tunta making her 3rd World Cup start, her 2nd for Estonia. She made her debut in Altenburg 2020 as part of the Latvian program. Born and bred in Latvia, but neighbouring Estonia, she's got family roots with.
Yeah, Darta, it's also part of my generation. She was at the Youth Olympics in Lillehammer, and she's growing nice, and it's nice to see her in the World Cup almost every race now.
Yeah, she's been working with learning more tracks and competing in the World Cup to keep her points up. So 23rd at the start with a 5.65 getaway, still 23rd on the splits.
She knows how to drive well, and when you start to learn and to drive in Sigulda, nothing it can scare you.
That's what they always say. Same when you learn in Altenburg or Whistler. 1.4 back, 23rd best speed. So she's around where we saw Elin Pelkmans of Belgium just now. She shouldn't be too far behind. 1.79 back, still ahead of Julia Simpson of Switzerland. And at the line, 23rd.
Yeah, that's good for the second run. She's gonna start very early, and I'm sure she's gonna show us a very nice run in the second run.
24th place in Samaritz. She's not had a World Cup race on this track, but she has raced here in all other categories, Intercontinental Cup, Europe Cup, and Junior Worlds. And as you said, Youth Olympian in 2016.
A very nice load here with the knees first. It's actually a new technique, a new trending in skeleton. You want to put your knees first, not your chest, as it was some years ago.
Everything changes. When I started, it was still two-handed push.
Exactly.
2 to go. Katarina Eigerman next for Liechtenstein. Again, made her debut in Samaritz, raced in the Youth Olympics in 2020. So another generation behind in sliding Data Tunta, but at 22, only 1 year younger than Data. Again, lots of races on this track.
And she has a lot of runs for sure here because she's with the German program. She's always with the German team around, so she has everything she needs to learn. And I think she has everything actually an athlete wants. Who doesn't want to be with the German team always?
Absolutely. Well, the Brits, but you know, 5.76 at the start.
A little flop there. Oh, that skid won't help. Yeah, it's a flat section there, and you don't want to do that before entering in 4. 5, 6, 7 are looking nice.
Well, from Omega, you actually go uphill over a little rise in 4 before you flatten out heading to corner 5. So it really multiplies the errors.
Yeah, another ski there, another tap here. I think she's very nervous.
Yep, I'm not surprised, Katrina Eigenmann. It's a big day for the athlete from Liechtenstein, and looking to be hovering between Julia Simpson and Ana Torres Quevedo of Spain. Across the line, 24th, so she's ahead of Simpson and Torres Quevedo.
Yeah, she's going to be second on the start list for second run, so she can still produce something.
Yes, she will need to get up the top and turn herself around and get her head ready for this. There's a big smile. You know, I'm sure there's tension. You know, these athletes are so young, and going to the World Championships is such a big thing. Yes, you've done one. Yes, you've done Youth Olympics, but every time you come to the big event.
Yeah, look at this drift. You don't want to do that. And she's a very tiny and small athlete, and when you start to drift, it's getting even harder to control it. You know, she's like fighting with it. So
24 years old is Lara Vargas for Colombia. Now, she, again, born and bred in Canada, lives in Canada and started as a Canadian, has never raced here.
Yeah, she was also at the Youth Olympics in Lillehammer, but as you said, for Canada. And it's nice to see her that she's representing her home country, actually, where she was born. And she's still with the Canadians all the time. She's just representing another nation.
Absolutely. So she's with coaches who she grew up with as senior athletes when she was first starting. But yeah.
And I think she's still living in Canada, and she's training always with them in Whistler. So probably she cannot wait to see a World Cup in Whistler, where she can show us what she can really do. She's still like a lot of athletes, probably it's like every week it's a new track for her.
Yeah, and she'll be more experienced in North America. Next year's Worlds are in Lake Placid. She will know that better than she knows this place by a long way. So, yeah, getting to North America will certainly help. 27th at the moment, off the 25th best start. And she is a 61.78 downtime, so 2/10 behind Ana Torres, Julia Simpson, and how far behind? 1600s behind Ana Torres Quevedo. So
yeah, it's tough to see that you see the last 27th place there, and it's gonna be even more tougher now because unfortunately she won't go first. You know, she's gonna go again last.
Ice, unless it stops raining and the ice firms up and maybe starts to speed up. And again, with the weather, when the weather changes, you can never tell quite how it's going to be in an hour. But, you know, her second Worlds, and it's all about experience. It's all about learning. It's all about building your knowledge. She's never raced here. Kimberly Boss, on the other hand, our first heat leader, well, she has raced here a few times. It's the closest home to the track to the Netherlands, and she won the last 2 outings on this track. So Kim Boss definitely has the potential, but after the first few sleds looked like there was going to be a yawning gap, then suddenly it started filling up. Look at that top 6, 1600s, top 8, quarter of a second.
I would say even top 9 because that's a German sled. And
well, and then Janine Flock 400s behind Jackie Pfeiffer, then Suzanne Kreyer 500s behind Janine. Then the big gap really is 11 to 12, Batia Cole Silveira and Jane Channel and Valentina Margalio. But yeah, from Suzanne Kreyer up, any of those 11 athletes could end the second heat in the top 3 or 4.
Exactly, everything can happen, and if they can get some make disadvantages even smaller, let's not forget that it's another day tomorrow.
Yeah, and don't forget, you know, Suzanne Kreyer will be going 10 sleds, 20 minutes before Kimberly Boss, and the track may be getting slower all the time. So, First off in the second heat will be Julia Simpson of Switzerland. What will happen to our overnight lead? Who will be in charge? You can find out by joining Mihai Pacianu, me, Martin Haven, and the IBSF TV crew here in Winterberg at 11:45 local, 10:45 GMT, 05:45 Eastern. Wherever you are, please join us. This could be a fascinating second heat.
To the first run. So wichtig. In Form. Go!